Okay. Let's make sure it pops up here. Yep, there we go. All right. We should be live now.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone?
What's going, peeps?
Hello. Got a few people watching. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Let me just blast it out on the links real quick. All right.
We shall do the sign.
We should be live now.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to double up the audio there. Get that away.
Turn this down as well.
All right. Roundup. Come watch as mainly at Jaime Fuego talks about a bunch
How did you say
of
mainly?
movies we watched this month. I mean, let's be real. You know?
For sure.
This one's going to be the Fuego show. All right, so let's see here. I did do a review thumbnail or show. That ought to be it. All right, that is blasted out. And
Alright, come join us.
all right, links are blasted out.
Yeah.
Let's see who we got in the chat, if anyone yet.
Yeah, it's always tough with the midweek, but we appreciate anybody who is stopping on through.
There we go. We got Old Darth, Ghost Pirate Entertainment. Christina Dover was here earlier.
Oh, that's Lou. Yeah, Old Darth is Sitzma from the Stephen King
nice.
podcast. Yeah, man, that was a joygasm of awesomeness over the course of the entire weekend. The whole Dollar Babies Film Festival, the Stephen King Rules thing that those dudes put together, and the lady as well was was so much fun.
Are you going to be putting together a hail about covering it and everything?
Yeah.
Nice. Sweet. Mm-hmm.
Ghost Pirate Entertainment. And
GRH is here. What's up? What's up?
It's going.
Hey, guys. So, yeah, we are here to talk about all the movies that we watched this month. This was supposed to be last Sunday's episode, but I ended up getting a little bit sick, and I didn't want to risk getting Fuego sick, so he had to come out this way today anyway, so we just decided to do it today.
Yeah, two birds, one stone, yeah.
We are going to be talking about, probably another 10 movies or something like that. I've only seen one of them this time around, so this is going to be the Fuego show, but still, it's going to be good information for you guys to have. And then this coming Sunday, you all have to look forward to basically a big channel party where hopefully everyone is going to be here.
Fingers firmly crossed.
Including Andrew, who doesn't come around nearly as much as I wish he would, but he's,
Ruby,
not
merciless.
Not as big a horror guy, so I understand. But he should be here. Hopefully the girls will be here. Fuego and Robert and myself will be here. I think that'll be it for this time, but that's a lot. So,
and it's like kind of a farewell to this era of the channel. So
and a party celebrating the relaunch that'll be happening immediately after. Cheers from Sweden says results May vary 7 from the Golden Boys of Sundsvall. We support independent films and independent actors with our T-shirts. Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Cool.
All right, so let's jump into the first one here, Fuego. I think I'm going to go just alphabetical, basically, this time.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the first one we have is a movie called Death Ranch. Okay, well, starting good, apparently.
No, I mean, okay, this is a film that will obviously be kind of a hot, contentious topic similar to what has happened with the Amazon Prime series Them. Because this is a film, it's kind of a grindhousey exploitation sort of throwback, but it's about a black dude who escapes from jail, hooks up with his sister and his brother, and they're hiding out at this ranch that apparently is filled with KKK members. and it is very violent in both ways, as far as just I don't know, man. It's gruesome, and it's something that if I talked with Chauncey about this, and it makes me wonder if she's even aware of this film. I could see this being very upsetting because I was upset by a lot of it, but it does have that campy sort of vibe, and all the KKK members are super over the top, but it is very gory as far as just nastiness that happens on both sides of the racial divide in this. But I mean, it's very much of the era that it's trying to take place in, which is it's like 73, 74, something like that. But I mean, the music has that swanky swagger to it. This director also did The Barge People, if I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, great practical and great gore. It's just with the just racial overtones and everything, and it's obviously a very hot topic, and with good reason, in the last couple of years here in the United States and across the world. I could see it most definitely not being for everyone, but I mean, I don't know. It's still well produced and well made, despite its hot topic sort of approach, I think. So I'm curious if anybody in the chat has even heard about this film. It just came out this past Tuesday on VOD. So
is it the poster gives me big time Grindhouse vibes? Is it made like a Grindhouse movie?
Absolutely. Okay. Yep.
So does it have the gritty overlay and stuff like that, or does it feel that they didn't do, shiny? Actually. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it feels shiny, but it's shot like a Grindhouse movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I mean, once again, the music and the clothing and the vibe, I mean, it's very era appropriate, and I was convinced that this could have been, one of those blaxploitation kind of things that came out in the 70s, but just definitely ramped up with the gore and the violence, inflicted on, both sides of the racial divide.
Did it have a satisfying ending, at least?
Very fist pumping, but there is definite collateral damage along the way without spoiling stuff.
Gotcha.
So there is some very sad death, and then there is just fist pumping revenge, so to speak. So
gotcha.
But yeah, I was impressed with this movie, but it's most definitely not for the faint of heart, and I could see. I mean, black friends of mine would probably either love it or hate it. To be fair, with the topic being tackled here. So,
gotcha.
But it was good. I mean, it was impressively made, and I mean, once again, the eyes being gouged out and severed limbs, and I mean, there is nastiness. These aren't just your regular KKK people. They are KKK cannibals. If that's yeah. So they also like to eat the flesh of the
Ku Klux Cannibals.
Yes, there you go. I was searching for it, but
that actually,
yeah, this movie's
I hate
intense.
That it works so well.
Yeah, this movie.
Ku Klux Cannibals. Yeah. All right, so Baron Durump says, "What up? I like your meow shirt. Thank you very much. Yes, my night meows. I believe this is available on our store, if I'm not mistaken." And then Irish Technical Thinker, what's happening, brothers? Respect from Ireland, lads. Love your Stephen King evaluation and summary of his works. Best on YouTube. Easy.
Oh,
there you go.
I greatly appreciate it. Humbled and honored for the kind words, man.
Absolutely. This is another Fuego-focused episode, so you signed on to the right stream. So, Fuego, let's talk about the next one, which, from what you had mentioned earlier, did not sound like it was the best either. What up, Dale? Good to see you.
Yeah, struck with time, man.
And that is Every Breath You Take. Give me 1 second. Fuego, hold on 1 second. And we're back. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry about that. Didn't want to force you guys to listen to that. All right, so yes, please, Fuego. What is Every Breath You Take?
Yes, so not to be confused with a song by the Police. But actually, that title kind of makes sense because some people think that Police classic is about like it's a sweet love song, but no, it's actually a song about obsession and the dangers that can lie within that. And this film actually falls into that same criteria. It's theatrical only, at least right now, or maybe it's available on VOD. I saw this in theaters earlier in the month, and it was very funny because I had like a Casey Affleck doubleheader. I watched this, and then I also watched a film called Our Friend, which was about a woman dying of terminal cancer. So I got double dose of Affleck in the same week, and it kind of reminded me that he is a very good actor. Ever since Gone Baby Gone, that was the first thing that I saw that he really impressed me in. And so in this film, he basically is a psychologist that is treating a patient, and he basically pulls her out of being on the verge of suicide and helps her, but he kind of crosses the patient-doctor line by actually talking about his own life, which I guess it's like out of etiquette to actually do that sort of thing, but it helped her, but then a traumatic incident occurs in her life, and she commits suicide, or does she? And then her brother comes into play, and he's there to, like, sell the home and, do all this, just like work out the affairs of the estate and whatnot. And he gets intertwined with not just Casey Affleck's wife, but also his daughter. This is very much a psychological thriller, so it's not full-on horror. But the British actor, or is he British? I'm not sure, because he's... I don't know, without spoiling stuff, but he is a very interesting villain, as stuff kind of, like, I guess that is kind of a spoiler to say that he's villainous to a degree, but you don't completely understand his motivations until the third act, which is fascinating. So, I don't know. I liked it. The reason I kind of downplayed it a little bit with you is because it's not really horror. It's very much so like a family psychological drama with some thriller vibes here and there, because it doesn't even really ramp up until the end. But seeing Casey Affleck's character just descend into this depression after the loss of his patient and stuff and everything, it's like, when it rains it pours sort of situation. And man, I definitely sympathize with him, and I felt his pain significantly in this movie. And Megan, I forget her last name, the woman there who plays his wife, she's great. Daughter is this like angsty goth girl, she's good too. So I don't know, I mean, the cast was very solid. This is something that I think in a non-pandemic sort of situation would have probably been received a lot better and got some more attention. I think it was sitting on the shelf for a while, and they just dumped it into theaters. But it is also available on VOD right now. So as far as like just a solid psychological thriller, I also enjoyed this one. I watched way worse films over the course of this past month in comparison with this one. So I liked it, but I'm not gonna champion it as being like one of the best things I've seen this year or anything. So has anyone even heard of this movie is what I wonder.
Zachary Haith is here. Eobard Thon is in the chat as well. Spook Dev and Vincent Garzone. What's up, guys? Sorry if we got you caught, Spook Dev, and the boss caught this. And then Irish Technical Thinker says, I'm a massive UFC fan, but a big fan of horror books and films. And he also said fantastic movie reviews also, so thank you very much for that. Eobard likes my shirt. Yes, I'm a big fan of my Night Meows shirt. So let's move on to the next one, Fuego. All right, the new Conjuring coming out, lads. I'm sure you're as excited as myself. I'm so pumped. Actually, let's take a little break, Fuego, and have you give your thoughts on the Conjuring movie, the trailer, because you did not do the reaction with me.
I was impressed. I mean, the thing that has me a little hesitant with this one is the fact that it's the director of The Curse of La Llorona. So with James Wan not directing it, that's where I'm the slightest bit more hesitant. But I mean, I don't know. Both of those actors who have portrayed the Warrens, 3 or 4 different times now at this particular point. Patrick Wilson especially, I've always, like him and Vera, they have great chemistry. And I mean, it looked solid, but I don't know. I love that second Conjuring movie so much, man. And it set a very high benchmark that, I mean, I know you like the third Annabelle movie where we brought the Warrens back and stuff, but I was not as about it. And I'm kind of apprehensive, despite the fact that the stuff with the kid especially on the bed, even though it was like kind of a callback to my favorite Kill in the Nightmare on Elm Street series where he's on the waterbed and stuff. I thought that was cool. But I mean, it didn't blow me away. It looked solid and serviceable is pretty much what I would contend. The
thing that I didn't mention in the trailer reaction that I meant to is that I love the conceit of the film. So they're portraying an actual
it is based on
trial,
a true event.
Right? A true event, a true trial, where basically the Warren Ed Warren is saying at one point, if you acknowledge the existence of God by having witnesses come up and swear on the Bible, then you have to acknowledge the existence of the devil as well.
It's the duality.
And it's such an interesting conceit and concept to explore. I was like, damn, that's true. How would the court handle that? Because, yeah, how can you argue against it? If you believe in the Bible and they talk... Does he talk about Satan in the Bible? I don't think he does, necessarily.
There's mention of, the fall of Lucifer.
Fall of Lucifer, but not necessarily him becoming Satan. I don't know. Nonetheless, it's an interesting conceit, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. So, the
most direct portrayal would probably be in the book of Job, and the fact that there was like a wager made between God and the devil about whether, if you inflicted all of this horrible harm on a man who had just revered God the whole time, will he turn his back and sink into evil.
Okay, so let's see. Vincent Garzon says, I watched Mortal Kombat. It was a great movie. Yeah, we enjoyed it. It definitely had its flaws. I don't know that I'd call it great, but I'm glad you enjoyed it for sure. If you're 18, then I could see you enjoying it more than us at our ages. So, all right. So the next movie Fuego is going to talk about is In the Earth.
Yes. So this is Ben Wheatley's film that I actually got to see back when it was at Sundance, and so it's been a number of months since I've actually seen it, but it is currently in theaters, and this movie's a trip, dude. I really, really enjoy this. It was filmed during like the pandemic lockdown, so the cast is like 4 or 5 people, something like that, and there's only a handful of main characters in it. But so essentially, there is a scientist who has gone missing, and this guy basically teams up with another woman to go and track down this person, and it's tough. It's tough not to spoil, but they encounter this dude who you see in the poster right there, and his intentions are murky at best, at least initially, but he also has a connection with the missing doctor, and she's conducting these experiments once they finally track her down, and it's just... I don't know, man. Ben Wheatley is the guy who was doing the second Meg movie, and he's done lots of other genre work and stuff like that. British dude, and it is just, from a psychedelic standpoint, I mean, this was like on par with Altered States and with, lots of other really just visually trippy, some of the camera work that he does, the use of lighting and colors and stuff like that. I mean, with such a small core cast, like, you would have to do something impressive visually to get this sort of psychedelic vibe, and it's there in spades, man. I don't think it's on VOD right now, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it's in theaters, and this is definitely something that I think would serve itself even better seeing it on a huge screen in comparison with my computer, which is where I watched it back at Sundance in January. So, yeah.
Ghost Pirate Entertainment says, I really liked In the Earth. I even did a review on my channel.
Nice,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, check that out if you guys want to after we're done here, for sure.
Yeah, and the
it's hard to talk about without spoiling.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so, especially with what happens in the back half of the film. So, yeah, there is, I just can't even say. And yet, it's such an ominously awesome poster, and yet it's important, but it's not even like the grand scheme of things, necessarily. Yeah, which is cool, so...
Ilbard says, once again, man, love the Cried Awards show. Made my girlfriend laugh as well. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, man.
I'm excited to do more of that. I have to figure out still exactly what I want to do. I have an idea, but there's such danger for copyright issues that I don't know if I want to do it, and rather than doing something unique. I don't know.
What was the response from the Oscars people?
While I was watching, people were loving it. I mean, that's yeah. So definitely a great response. Thank goodness. So,
you did a kick-ass job, man. I mean, that's what's up.
Yeah, Irish Thinker, oh sweet, thank you for the instant review on the film. Conjuring is easily a heavyweight champion of horror films. It holds up. Thank you guys. Here's Johnny. What up, old Darth? All right. So let's go to the next one, Fuego, which has gotten a lot of press this past week, actually. Because I saw, I think Stuckman did a review of this one.
He did, actually, yeah. He said that he was very much looking forward to it because this was from the same director who did the Girl on the Third Floor, I think? Was that the one with the wrestler in it?
Yep.
Yeah, CM Punk.
Which I thought was okay. I didn't think it was super like anything to write home about. But...
And that's kind of the way that I felt about this. So, like, Barbara Crampton is awesome, and this is a vampire movie, as I think some of the trailers alluded to and stuff. And it's a weird balance of tone because of the fact that it tries to be very serious at times, and then it tries to blend in like the camp and the silliness and the humor and stuff like that. You get the most humor from after she gets bit by this very like Barlow looking dude, kind of a Oh goodness, what is the word that I'm looking for? In any event, inconsequential. But yeah, so she gets bit by this vampire, and then like the most amusement that I got out of it is after her reverend husband, who is a genre actor who I just saw in the Gray Matter short at the Dollar Babies. If you saw him, you would totally recognize this dude. He's been in so many different films over the years and stuff like that. But they're in kind of a loveless marriage, and she's longing for, just more meaning in her life, and she even like kind of cheats on the husband a little initially, and but after she gets bit and she's going through this transformation, and she's like, the thirst for blood and all that different stuff, those are the most amusing moments, because the husband, he tries to like aid her and help her, and so that's where the movie really hits its stride, is in those just silly scenes of him. He's like, okay, I love you, honey. Let's work through this together, sort of situation. But it just didn't bring anything too amusingly awesome to the table. I mean, there are some gory kills, which I will definitely give credit for, and they're portrayed in just kind of a silly, over the top sort of fashion. But this movie just didn't do it for me, man. It just, I don't know. Crampton's great though, and her chemistry with the husband, once again, was my favorite thing. But it's not one that after I VOD'd it, I like immediately told you, dude, you have to watch this, because otherwise I would have.
And I would have
48-hour rental period. So.
Old Dart says, is Nosferatu what you were trying to think of?
Yes, that's what.
Okay, I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, he can't have forgotten Nosferatu.
Yeah, just having a brain fart.
Yeah, the original Barlow-looking vampire.
Exactly,
and that's what I figured you were.
Yeah,
going
and it was
with
the design of the teeth and stuff, especially that really, just amped that up.
Two front rabbit teeth. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of CM Punk, he was asked in an interview if what horror movie wanted to get a remake, and he said Critters. Hey, there you go.
Interesting.
You know what? I'll take it.
I don't know if they would remake it. They would just make more installments like they have, So you're like,
I mean, that's true. Remaking it,
if
remaking it would be danger of making them CG. I'd think.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's the same issue that they would have like for another Gremlins installment. Would it be a remake? Would it be a prequel, rebequel, whatever the hell sort of thing? Because I know they have the animated series for Gremlins that they're working on right now for HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken. So
Dale says, quick warning about the Lost Boys Tribe and Thirst. I've heard that they're pretty bad. Actually,
I like the third one.
Yeah, the third one wasn't bad. I didn't think they were terrible, and the reviews are already done and coming this week, along with reviews of the comics, the 2 different comic series, as well as 2 replicas of comics featured in the movie. So that review is coming tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Because there was the Vertigo series, and then there was also the Reign of Frogs, I think was
Wildstorm.
Wildstorm, correct? Good stuff.
Guess I should turn that off so you guys don't get all my notifications. Okay, so Jakob's Wife, nothing that needs to be rushed out to see.
I've seen some very positive responses to it, but those are really like the Barbara Crampton fan voice hardcore, and I've always appreciated her, whether it's From Beyond or whether it's the Castle Freak. I think she was in that as well, if I remember correctly. So the original, not the remake, just to clarify. But yeah.
Did you guys watch Shadow and Bone series on Netflix? I really enjoyed it. Curious what you think. I'll give it a try at some point with my lady, but we're making our way through the back half of Vikings right now. We're halfway through the first part of season 4.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know. We'll get to Shadow and Bone eventually. It didn't strike me as a horror series, so we probably won't review it on the channel. But I have heard good things about it, which is good because I like those high fantasy shows when they're. Or movies when they're done well.
Yeah, we did react to, I think, 2 of the trailers for that one, actually, and I just, it looked kind of by the books, at least for me, and there's so many of those sort of series.
Books, so if they're by the books, then they're successful.
There you go.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one, Fuego, which is one I had never heard of until I saw it on the list, called Monsters of Man?
Yeah, Monsters of Man. This is less horror. It's more so like just violent action sort of situation, but... So there is a private company that kind of cloak and dagger works with the government, and they're trying to develop these like protectionary robots, and they dump them into this place in the Far East. I'm trying to remember if it's Thailand or which country specifically. Inconsequential, but they think that they're testing out these robots in an area where there's all kinds of like drug activity and stuff like that. Whereas, unfortunately, there are these international medical students who are there and they get caught in the crosshairs, and they are massacred over the course of, and they hook up with this dude who's former military who attempts to protect some of them. But this movie was much more impressive than I was anticipating. It's long too. It's over 2 hours. They typically don't make this sort of high concept sci-fi violent sort of stuff as often anymore, and so that's why I was just impressed. And the fact that there's also these IT people who are supposed to be controlling the robots, and then one in particular, its core gets damaged, and so it's not going with its proper programming and whatnot. So this is on VOD, and it's also on Redbox. I just rented this at the Redbox for $2 and watched it, and I thought it was going to be absolute trash, and it was significantly more violent than I anticipated. Much better effects, especially with the robots, than I was anticipating. It had kind of a Chappie type vibe as far as the look of these robots and stuff.
Gotcha.
But it was very much a hard R, especially with some of the deaths that that these people who are just wrong place, wrong time sort of situation find themselves in. And then also the whole moral compass of these IT people who are supposed to be monitoring and developing the technology with these robots, and they're wow, these are not the sort of training grounds that we were anticipating, because there is actually going to be innocent life lost in comparison with, they thought that they were just going to be plowing through these nasty drug sort of people in East Asia and stuff. So I don't know. It was a big surprise for me as far as both effects and acting, and just a higher concept and moral compass than I was anticipating. I actually really dug this movie a lot more so than I was anticipating. So yeah, I thought it was going to be throwaway Redbox trash, which is more often than not, if it's a Redbox exclusive or something, it's kind of what you get. But yeah, man, this one impressed me actually. I quite dug it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Results may vary. Feel free to email us about that if you want. So let's talk about Phobias.
Yeah.
The email's in the description box. So Phobias is the next one. Now, what is this about? Because
this is the one that I actually wish you would have watched, because it was quite interesting. So this is it's an anthology, but the way that they frame it is quite interesting. So it's a bunch of different directors, it's 5 different segments, and it's 5 different patients. And so the concept may sound kind of silly on paper, because there is a government and kind of test study that's going on where they want to basically weaponize fear, so to speak. And so there's all of these different people that have
the Scarecrow approach.
Who have different phobias, and they're basically trying to get to the root of different fears. And each person, being an anthology, there's some segments that are significantly stronger than others. The one with this Asian dude in particular I thought was probably the best. But then it's weird because Macy Gray's in this movie. I try to say goodbye and I don't. She's in the strangest segment because of the fact that, her segment, she is a murderous, psychopath, and you're almost supposed to feel sympathy for her, despite the fact that it's she takes her office workers back to her house and drugs them and cuts them up. It's really, really gruesome and brutal, and she's one of the people who is, taken and in this test study, and despite the horrible things that she's done, you're seemingly supposed to sympathize with her because these, brutal experiments are being conducted on her. So of all of the 5 mainstay peeps in this, hers is the one where I just scratched my head, because there is the individual stories, and then there's also the overarching of them trying to escape from this facility too. So but the production value was high. Great score, great acting. Yeah, it was very fascinating.
Where did you watch it? Where is it?
I
gotta rent it.
I VOD'd it, if I recall correctly.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. I'll definitely keep my eye out for that one.
Yeah, this one was good. I was quite impressed with it. So I'm not sure what these collective of directors have done previously and stuff, but it was just so interesting to see Macy Gray in such a, I don't know, her music for me is relatively squeaky clean, and she's this insane murderous person in this movie. The dichotomy was just crazy. So, yeah. Although she's only in one segment, and then the overarching stuff as well. But yeah, acting was good. This was pretty pro, man. This one I quite enjoyed. Maybe, and it's definitely in the top tier of the stuff that I watched this past month. So.
All right, so Nico-chan, or Neko-chan, I'm not sure which it is, but it's nice to see you too.
Yes, we're nice to
been going through a lot of our old Let's Plays. I appreciate you giving those some views. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's see.
And this is actually interesting now that I think about it. Interesting kind of training ground for the fact that with Hail to Stephen King shifting to Tuesdays, there will be a once a month Tuesday stream for the book of the month sort of thing that you guys can look forward to. So yeah, I still don't know what time of day I should try to do that, but I guess we will
test out some things.
We will address it when we can. So
yeah, because since there's nothing the next day, it's not like you're crunching it if you do it in the evening. I wouldn't care if you did it in the evening on Tuesdays. Okay, so
yeah, so Phobias, top notch, man. This was definitely one of my faves of the month. So.
We do have to figure that out by Sunday, so we can actually announce what we're going to be doing when we talk about the reboot.
This is true. We are very close.
And I'm also going to be revealing the coming soon page or ad that I made, so people can see what episodes they're actually going to be looking forward to on the channel. So
nice.
All right, next up is one from friends of ours, the guys over at
Black Fawn
Distribution, right? So this one is the Oak Room. We did a trailer reaction for this once upon a time, but Fuego, you said this is also kind of less horror.
Yeah, it's not really horror at all. If you saw Chad's previous film, I'll Take Your Dead, in the fact that yes, there was a supernatural slant to it, but it was really more of like a gritty crime, like thriller sort of situation. Kind of picture that sort of vibe, but just take out the supernatural aspect, because there's none of that going on here. It's all, for the most part, one location. It's this guy who basically shows up at this bar that his father used to frequent, and he may or may not be who you think he is, and you don't really know what his motivations are. But he used to live in this town, and as opposed to like dealing with a problematic situation that he just unfortunately has to address, he kind of stalls by telling this weird story, and it doesn't really get like hyper violent until the end. But when you get like the full scope of what's going on, and there are a couple of interesting little twists, and the story does jump around timeline wise, which is fascinating. This is from Cody Callahan, if I recall correctly, who also did the movie where the girl got bit by the bug and started changing and stuff. Bite. I think that was the one. So he is a buddy of Chad and those guys at Black Fawn, and so it was very very well directed, and there's few films that I've seen recently where I was just that intrigued by the mystery of this tale and where it's going and where it's gonna eventually get to, and like some of the revelations and stuff like that, because this is very much a movie that I don't want to spoil, because it is really a mystery and trying to unravel that. Like, yes, it is really a story of a guy telling the story, but I was that captivated with the tale and what the eventual revelation was going to be. So I didn't love where it got by the end, but it's really more so one of those the journey, not the destination sort of situations, without spoiling it. So and the acting is great. The lead he's very eccentric and like slightly weird and almost like, I don't want to say OCD or like disabled, because I'm not sure what the proper terminology would be, but yeah, he had me captivated, so I will definitely give him that. And it's a very cold Canadian tale, man. So yeah, it was interesting.
Okay. Damn it, I don't know why that camera keeps glitching. I need to fucking fix
yeah, I saw a little flash.
I don't know why it keeps doing that. Sorry about that, guys. This camera is betraying me all of a sudden, so... All right, so we have...
Has anyone seen this, though?
A few more, actually, still.
Oh, wow.
So, the next one, Fuego, is The Seventh Day.
Yes.
So, jump on that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I watched two religious-centric horror films right around Easter. I watched this, and then another one that we're going to get to later with Jeffrey Dean Morgan called The Unholy. This one, I was trying to think of the last thing that I've seen Guy Pearce in, man, because, like, he was such a thing with...
Alien Covenant.
Was he in that?
Yeah, he was the old Wayland. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, he was a big thing there in like with Memento and various other stuff in like the 90s and like a good chunk of the 2000s. Like he was as close to A-list as anybody, as just very respected dramatic actor. He's not working at least as prevalently as I would remember, but so he is this grizzled like old priest who specializes in exorcisms. We also have Stephen Lang in this movie in a slightly smaller role. He's like another higher up in the church, so to speak. But Pierce's character is basically teamed up with this younger guy who you see to the right on the poster there, and he's basically supposed to take him under his wing and, you know, just bring him around to a couple areas. I'm trying to remember if it's Boston or Philly where they filmed this, but long story short, man, yeah, it is one of those, like, you know, the older, wiser, but yet kind of pissed off and angry, maybe losing faith a little bit sort of situations, and just trying to impart some of his wisdom and lead this younger dude in the right direction. And it's R-rated, you know, it's got some interesting scenes that I'm just less about the whole religious horror sort of thing. I think I've mentioned this on the channel before, like, as much as I respect The Exorcist and stuff like Emily Rose and, you know, lots of these others, like, it's less my jam as far as subject matter goes, and that's not based on my religious upbringing. It's just, I don't know, and this one wasn't stellar, unfortunately. Neither was the other that we'll get to, the Unholy. But I mean, it did live up to its R rating, and you know, Pierce is good in this. There's a slightly interesting twist later in the film without giving stuff away. But yeah, man, I don't know. There's these kids who they get involved with, who, you know, there's Ouija board stuff. There's like the inviting of evil. It just felt very cliched at times and didn't really bring anything, like, good performances throughout by everybody, but it was the story that just felt relatively generic. And this is not one that, I don't know, maybe Marcia would have liked it more, because I know she really digs this sort of stuff, but for me, it didn't bring enough freshness to the table to really stand out. But, you know, good acting from everybody. You know, they weren't mailing it in like you see from, you know, some of these bigger names at times.
Yeah, that doesn't sound interesting enough to watch for me at all.
No, it wasn't, unfortunately.
Dale, if that was the case with my camera, I'd have to throw it out. So. All right, Fuego, I'm going to get rid of this one since, you know, I didn't watch it and you weren't the biggest fan. You said it's not that great.
And it came out last year, too.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
All right, so getting rid of that, but let's go ahead and follow it up since you mentioned it. Let's go ahead and have you talk about the Unholy.
So this one was at least a little bit better because, and we did do a trailer reaction to this.
We did.
This is the one where this girl believes that the Virgin Mary is basically talking to her, through her, so to speak. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a disgruntled journalist who kind of, I guess it's early enough in the film where, like, mentioning it doesn't really spoil too much, but he's disgraced because of the fact that he had fabricated stories, and he basically screwed up his entire reputation. And
he's Eddie Brock.
Yeah, to a degree. So he gets involved with this situation, and he gains exclusivity for being able to interview this girl, and he's trying to peddle his stories and kind of, like, regain his reputation and redeem himself and so on and so forth. But he's not the most savory person, and it really just boils down to like, what actually is talking to and through this girl. This is PG-13 in comparison with the R rating on the last one, so you're not going to get anything too hardcore. Jeffrey Dean's solid, you know, but yeah, this was another one that came out the Friday before Easter. It came out on Good Friday, which is kind of funny. And yeah, I don't know, the concept and the conceit behind it intrigued me, but unfortunately, like, the payoff was just not there with this one, and you could tell it was very much a defanged and declawed sort of situation. Sometimes the PG-13 rating, I mean, I've seen impressive stuff. I mean, the Insidiouses and things like that, but yeah, this was definitely one that, besides the setup, it just didn't really go there. And Jeffrey Dean, this is the second one that I've seen in the last year or so, with the postcard killings being the other one, where I didn't really feel like he was bringing the fury like I wanted. And yes, it was very predictable in the fact that even if you watch the trailer, they kind of hint to the fact that, is this the Virgin Mary that's talking through this girl? Yeah, so I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. This is, I think it's both in theaters and you can VOD it, but I think it's that PVOD where you would have to spend like $20, and it's most definitely not worth that sort of money.
Well, they
guys.
showed in the trailer there was a ghoulish Mary figure, so
yeah. So and that's the trailer totally spoiled this big reveal, which is just kind of silly. So,
okay, so that doesn't happen. You don't even see that thing until towards the end.
You do eventually, But it's there's no shock about where this film goes. I guess the main girl who is so certain that Mary is talking through her, she's good, but like your bigger names in this, oh goodness, there's a couple people even besides Jeffrey Dean in this. Gosh, I'm trying to remember dude from Demon Knight. Why can I not recall homie's name? It's inconsequential, I suppose. But yeah, man, this one is definitely not worth going to a theater for or spending that PVOD price, unfortunately.
Ghost Pirate Entertainment agrees with you on this one too. It says I wasn't much of a fan either. Did a review of it too, but I was pretty disappointed. Like you, religious horror isn't my jam. So.
Yeah, just less about it, unfortunately. But yeah.
So down to the last two. So one more that is Fuego solo, and then we'll talk about the one that we can both talk about. So this is called The Toll, which I gotta say has attractive artwork.
Yeah.
It makes me want to see it because it makes me think, oh, cool, maybe a new slasher. But what is it, Fuego?
It's not really a slasher. This is so this is very low budge, but doing impressive things with low budge because it's really just two main actors. So this dude is an Uber driver. He is picking up this girl at the airport, and he's driving her like a long ass way.
Pug, no.
Yeah, we're talking a extensive like hour plus trip in this Uber driver's vehicle to get to her father's like remote like ranch kind of area, and she's going to be visiting with him. And the Uber driver dude is a little bit of a creep, kind of a weirdo, a little like just eccentric, and he tries like hitting on the girl, making conversation with her to no avail, and she's totally skeeved out by him. But they basically, as they're driving through these like backwoods roads and stuff like that, his GPS takes them on a route that she doesn't think is the proper one, but it's where he alleges. And then without spoiling things, like essentially they break down and like their phones aren't working, GPS isn't working. It's almost like maybe they've gone into an alternate dimension or some sort of weird loopy kind of thing, and they're this toll person, this toll man, and that's where I'm like, okay, so this is going to be like like the Bye Bye Man situation, or something of that nature, and or the Empty Man, but the Empty Man's actually good and was not anything like I was expecting it to be. But yeah, the performances and the chemistry between this skeevy dude and this woman, it's actually quite good, and they're just trying to basically figure out where they are, why. They start walking through the woods at one particular point, and they're just like walking in circles, just like walking back to the vehicle, and there's all kinds of strange hints about the fact that they will have to pay this toll, so to speak, to actually get out of this like looping situation. And it explores backstory of both characters, issues that the Uber driver dude had with his mother. The woman had some heartbreak and some issues in her own life as well. So this was one that I thought it was going to be total trash, and as I often contend on this channel, the burden of expectation. But sometimes when you go in with like donuts for expectations, you're actually impressed. Now, there is an essence of predictability about this film, but I thought the execution from both the acting and from the interesting mythology that they actually built within this, I thought it was going one way, and then it ended up just, I don't know, I was satisfied despite the fact that I just kind of saw where we were heading with it. But great performances, interesting mythology, not quite as by the books as I was anticipating, and for just low budget, just like two main actors and really very, very little else going on, I thought it was effective. So I mean, definitely worth a rent. I think I got it at Redbox if I remember correctly. That's where I consume a lot of my cheap rentals and stuff is through the Red Beezies. So yeah,
seems like a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leads us to...
This one's very under the radar, though. A lot of people have not seen this.
No, I haven't seen anyone talking about it either, really. So, yeah. All right, so the one that I am able to talk about is one that also came out a while ago, but it's
last year, actually.
One that I've been wanting to talk about, since I watched it finally. But that is Unhinged.
Now, I think it's on Prime now, right?
Yes, you talked about it in Fuego-tainment, if I'm not mistaken. I thought you did.
I think I did at one point. I think it was like a roundup, sort of like, a couple different reviews and stuff. But yeah, this was what like reopened the box office last August, if I remember correctly. This was the first like high-profile release to go back into theaters. So
yeah, so this one is about Russell Crowe, or it starts with Russell Crowe
fighting around,
going really
city.
crazy. Basically, his life is falling apart, and he's just tired of dealing with it. It really is sort of a super extreme falling down.
I love falling down.
Yeah, but basically this
less
woman,
sympathy for the character.
this woman is trying to who's always running late, and is tenuous with her word at best and things like that. She is trying to take her son to school and gets stuck behind a big truck and honks at it and like yells at him as she passes, and then he comes back up to her and starts talking to her kid through the back window that's down, and basically asks her to apologize, and she refuses. And so for the rest of the movie, he then makes her life a living hell by taking it far. It's not
vendetta status.
It's not just like, he's tailgating her and stuff. I mean, people die, and people that are important to her and stuff. And it's like, wow, I had no idea it was going to get as intense as it actually got. So yeah, the story was impressive to me. I was engaged the whole time, and I wanted to see what was going to happen next. So thrillers that are made well like that, I tend to enjoy. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the overallness for you.
Yeah, man, when I saw the trailers for this, I was just like, that looks cheesy and stupid. I have no interest in watching this. And then once it finally hit home release, I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I don't have anything else, I was caught up on Patreon stuff, whatever. And on a whim, I watched it, and I was like, damn, Russell Crowe goes for it in this movie, man. Like, he's ruthless, dude. This movie very much embodies its R rating with some of the stuff that he does, like the scene in the diner with the fork, and yeah. I mean, yeah, and also the stuff with her extended family, and where you just realize how far this guy is going, because he is an absolute lunatic. I mean, Crowe he was a hell of a villain, man. Like, he was pretty damn good in this movie. It's really the Russell Crowe just going psycho show, and for that reason, I definitely recommend this, especially if you have Prime and you won't even have to spend any money to rent it. I don't know if I would have gone to a theater in the middle of a pandemic to watch something like this, but this is one that I think will really find its audience on home release through streaming and stuff. And props to Crowe for just going full on lunatic, man. Yeah, yeah. He definitely committed himself to this role, and yeah, I was impressed. He still reminds me that he's a pretty damn good actor, even if he is kind of a whack job, even outside of filmmaking. So, yeah.
No, I agree. I enjoyed his acting quite a bit in this, and everyone's really.
I thought the mom and the kid were good too. Yeah.
So this is a solid movie. If you haven't seen it yet, some people, I saw someone say it limped during the ending. Old Dar says started out solid, but kind of limped it to the ending.
Yeah, possibly. I could see that.
I don't know. I didn't feel that way particularly, but I did enjoy it. And Jason Chamberlain, yeah, you definitely need to watch if you haven't yet. It's worth it. So yeah,
it was good.
That is everything regarding all the reviews we had to discuss today. So we are going to go ahead and call it there, you guys. If you have any questions here before we go, feel free to throw them in the chat. Again, this Sunday is going to be the last live stream before the channel relaunch next month.
Yeah.
Going to be going much less episodes per week, you guys. It's going to be basically 3 episodes per week. It'll be one usual horror show episode, one Hail to Stephen King, and then an episode on Sunday, which will tend to be live in the back half of the month, but not live in the front half of the month. So you will see how it goes, but I'm excited to show you the content we've been preparing, and we're going to talk more about that this Sunday. So stay tuned to this Sunday. And then, yes, Fuego mentioned it earlier, this Saturday will be his last Hail to Stephen King on Saturdays.
Yep, because we are shifting back to Tower Tuesdays, so that's have that to look forward to. But yeah, this Saturday at 12 noon Pacific, we will be discussing the Green Mile for its 25th anniversary, which is pretty exciting. So,
and then Fuego is going to be doing an episode covering the Dollar Baby Festival because I'm really curious about that. So
there were some gems, man. They were and unfortunately, there's obviously there's some stinkers in there too. But lots like some I had seen before. Like I had seen Gray Matter before. A couple of the others, the Man Who Loved Flowers, which they had 2 different versions.
Oh, Gray Matter was the one that was in Creepshow?
No, different one actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Different interpretation of it, and in some ways, I kind of like that one better. But no.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of gems though. I mean, the unfortunate thing about the event is that due to rights issues, they streamed it live, and then the links had to disappear. So it's not like an on-demand thing that you can go and revisit or anything. Unfortunately, so yeah.
Eelbard asks, have either of you been to the Bill and Ted Circle K in Temple? Do you mean Tempe?
You mean Tempe? Mm-hmm.
Probably by accident.
Yeah.
I mean, I've probably been to every Circle K in Tempe, but I don't remember which one you'd be talking about. I do know that
Circle K's look similar.
It is likely that it was in Tempe because I know they shot Waterloo at Sunsplash.
Yeah.
So, Jeff N, what's up? Sorry I'm late. No worries. We just finished.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up.
We're just wrapping up. So, Dale asks, I know this isn't horror, but are you excited for the new Spider-Man? Also, who's your favorite Spider-Man actor? I don't know. I am excited for the new one just because the crossover aspect of it, but...
I mean, I'm stoked about the Doc Ock actor coming back. I thought Raimi's 2 still might be my favorite. I know there's some people who are like into the Spider-Verse, but as far as live action goes, I think that still might be my fave. But
it's I mean, I don't know who my favorite. I guess Tom Holland. I wasn't a big fan of Tobey Maguire. I liked Andrew Garfield, but he was way too cool for Peter Parker. So. Yeah. But I liked Andrew Garfield a lot as Spider-Man, so...
I like the first one with Garfield and the lizard and stuff. I actually enjoy that movie, so quite a bit. Second one, not so much.
And yet that Electro is coming over too, apparently.
Yeah.
Interesting. So why did Pennywise choose the name Bob Gray, Fuego? Irish technical thinker asks.
That's a good question.
Okay. Nico asks, have you guys had the chance to watch the Snyder Cut? I saw you did a trailer reaction. Yeah, we watched it. I didn't feel it was necessary to do a full review of it. It was what it was. It was longer. It was improved, but it's still not a great movie, in my opinion.
It most definitely felt like its runtime to me. Some of the new musical choices I was less about because I watched Whedon's version and then I watched Snyder Cut right after.
Yeah, I did too.
So I saw like the alteration of tone and stuff. Like, I don't know, I thought the third act was significantly superior, but there is a part of me that liked some of the goofiness, like, like Soup and Flash having their little race at the end, which was a Whedon exclusive scene and stuff like that. So neither are great films in my estimation. And I don't know, what did you think of the post-credit scene?
The more nightmare stuff with the Joker. I actually liked that conversation between Batman and the Joker. Like, I want to see
referencing killing the second Rob.
I want to see that movie, but that back and forth was really funny. I dug that representation of Joker by Jared Leto way more than the Suicide Squad one for sure.
Absolutely, that was retcon mofo.
But I didn't care enough. I mean, I know that was purely set up, and it's just
and it's set up for nothing. It almost felt like kind of a tease, to be honest, because they WB has gone on record to say that they're like, no, that's not canon. Whedon's version is canon, so and we're not restoring the Snyderverse, which is what everybody has been like tweeting about and stuff. So sadly, it's not happening, guys, but you have Michael Keaton in The Flash to look forward to, which I'm stoked about.
Yeah, Irish, he doesn't know. He doesn't know why Bob Gray, so...
I think he was just going for a very inconspicuous name is really, the extent of what I could go for.
Well, if one had to surmise, Bob Gray would be superfluous human name added to alien representation, a.k.a. Gray.
Yeah.
Because he is an alien. So Bob Gray.
Yeah, I was about to say old Darth Lou may have some additional insight because he is just as much a Tower Junkie and Kinghead as me, if not more so.
Yeah, Lou, do you have any ideas?
Yeah.
I can't stand Leto as Joker. His laugh is so bad. Yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice, but I don't like it very much either. I'm just saying the new scene is better than the Joker we got in Suicide Squad. I
honestly like that scene. It was a very odd ragtag team that he had assembled in this future
Deathstroke,
this future doomsday sort of situation.
Flash in a suit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this. We actually have to go. So just so you guys know, part of the relaunch, the first series we're gonna be reviewing as a part of the relaunch is Prom Night. Don't ask why. I mean, outside of the fact that one of them was requested via Patreon, I was like, let's just go through the series. So we're about to review all 6 movies in the Prom Night series. And then we are also going to, hopefully, if we have time, record 1 or 2 tier list rankings that we can do. The Prom Night one, as well as the next series tier list ranking, I think we could probably do as well. So if we have time, we're going to record those today, stuff for the relaunch. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you to everyone in the chat for participating. We greatly appreciate it. We wish you all well. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel. We greatly appreciate you guys as well. So until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
And gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.
Later, Lou.
Bye. Yep, there were 6 of them, technically.